Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
we are concerned about trouble and trending irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Welcome, everybody.
Yeah.
It's extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Yeah.
So what you just heard there is a super cut that has been put together.
I believe it was from Deadspin, did it?
Really well done.
Yeah, it was well done.
You had numerous local broadcast groups.
Everybody owned by Sinclair.
Sinclair, right?
The number 2 company that owns 40% of all of the local television channels.
That was put out as a broadcast during the height of fake news. And you don't really get the feel in that one, which I kind of like. Were they talking about the left being fake? Or were they talking about the right being fake?
So this is Sinclair is a conservative group. Mm-hmm. So they were attacked by the liberals, right? So it was all over MSDNC, and CNN.
And here what you have, and this is we're going to talk about it right now. This is exactly how this works. They are all controlled by one entity.
Yep. So Sinclair sent a script to all of their local channels. They wanted all of the local anchors
to read it
as if it was their opinion, right, from the station, and that about this disinformation or fake news that is extremely troubling and is a threat to our democracy. Well, then they put together all of the clips of all of the news channels saying the exact same thing, and here we are. You're right, it is a threat to our democracy. You guys running and telling them what they have to say is a threat.
Mm-hmm. And what I love is that whether it was CNN or MSNBC or ABC, they put it out there, but they do exactly the same thing.
Yeah, and it's funny because Sinclair owns like channels from all of the networks, right? Yeah. So it looks like it's not, right? Like it looks like it's not. Mm-hmm. It's Sinclair.
Yep.
Like they said this has to go out, and all those anchors felt like they had to do it.
Well, and here's the thing that we're starting to look at and we're starting to find with the media. Whether you're right or you're left, you're controlled.
Yep.
You're controlled, and you're being told what to say, what to do. You get your talking points. You get your talking points. You have to hit them. You have to stay on talking point. When you have a guest and your guest comes on and he's just destroying your talking points or blowing you up, you cut him off, you overtalk him, you shut him down, you do whatever you can, and then you just get rid of him.
Yeah.
We've seen it over and over and over again. I've seen it on CNN. I've seen it with Brian Stelter. I've seen it with Rachel Maddow.
You see it on Fox.
You see it on Fox News. You see it. It doesn't matter. They're all the same.
It does not matter what side you're on. They all do the exact same thing.
And what's dangerous, first off, we're not a democracy, so it's not a danger to our democracy.
Correct.
Representative republic, democratic republic.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So what's dangerous to our democracy, or what's dangerous to us, again, is you have somebody else above. You're not talking facts.
Nope.
Fake news is a real problem.
It is
100%
for sure.
The lies we talked about it in our last podcast. We talked about the lies with the Hunter Biden laptop.
Well, I think that story is like quintessential.
Correct.
On how
fake,
how you can show, like, there's just so much, there's so many sound bites, so many clips that you can just show, like, they knew that it was real. You know, MSNBC and CNN has people in the FBI that they went to them and were like, hey, no, this is real. But they perpetuated that lie, and then they never corrected it.
They never corrected it.
It was admitted to evidence, so it's obviously not fake. But guess what? They've never said, hey, we were wrong. Scarborough, we're fools because we believed it, according to Scarborough.
You have your MSNBC, you've got your CNN, you've got your CBS, ABC. All of them were going after this crap with FBI agents and saying it's all Russian disinformation.
Classic earmarks of Russian disinformation.
Classic earmarks of Russian disinformation, right?
Has all the earmarks or all the
clapper talking point.
Yeah.
So, I think we need to start blowing it up, man. People, if you don't understand, like, and this is what I have people in my orbit. I've talked about this all the time that are liberal, and they ask me what news agency I listen to. I don't listen to one.
No,
I look at all of them.
Yeah, you have to.
Usually, CNN will be running a story, and Fox will run the other side of it. And usually, the truth, for what I've found, is somewhere in the middle, right?
Yep.
So I don't. But either way, I've seen a lot of stories that are just bullshit.
Yeah.
And so every time I get asked, well, where are you getting your information from? Fox News? And I look at them and I say, no, I don't get my information from a news source. I go find it myself.
Yeah. What are you, a scientist?
Trust me, I've gotten...
How many times you get that during COVID?
I've gotten crapped on.
So now you can do your own research? Yeah, you should too, asshole.
Yes, I can read. I can read and I can see what's been said. I can look into the people and see if there's motives for them to be saying what they're saying. Like it's just a little bit of research that all it takes.
Just a tiny bit.
So here's the thing. This is why we started this, right? The Russian disinformation, right? This campaign to make Trump look like he was a Russian asset that has taken place by the left-wing media. 90% of all stories between MSNBC, CNN with Trump, pertaining to Trump, have been negative of Trump. They don't ever cover anything positive that he ever did during his time in office. Instead, it was the Robert Mueller's investigation, Trump's asset of Russia,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it was impeachment. And then after that, it was January 6th, and now it's all Stormy Daniels.
Right.
They have done this. This is, I'm calling it, I've labeled it in our last podcast, Operation Shield. Why? Because they're shielding the deep state, they're shielding the establishment, they're shielding the billionaires that are making money off our government, hand over fist, our money, taxpayers' money, to keep the power structure in place that allows our Washington elites to enrich themselves through insider trading and through book deals and all sorts of shit after they get out as lobbyists. And we, the people, are suffering for it. What have they fucking done? Any of them? What has Biden done to make any of us better? Nothing. What did Barack Obama do to make any of us better? Nothing. George H.W. Bush, what the fuck did he do? George W. Bush, Clinton,
Nothing.
What did any of them do?
Nothing.
But look at their bank accounts.
Yeah.
Look at their fucking bank accounts. I would say that Benjamin Franklin would probably be rolling in his grave right now if he saw that the bank accounts of all of our former presidents in my lifetime all have over 7 figures in their bank accounts. That's not the point of civil service. But here's where we're at. The biggest problem we are having right now, and I said this in the last podcast, we have a constitutionally protected entity, which is media, right? You have the right to free press.
Yep.
But this is the shit that they're doing. They're not reporting facts. It's propaganda. They're convincing people or trying to convince people of stories, and they're trying to tell you what you can and can't believe, what you should and shouldn't believe. And they're creating stories. They're reporting stories they know are a lie to be true. They do it on purpose. Trump coined the term fake news, and I think he woke a lot of people up with the fake news.
Yep.
And there have been a lot of people behind the scenes on the keyboards and posting videos thankfully, that have woke a lot of people up. But
I think that's what it did, right? Like it woke people up, and
Absolutely.
then other people started finding them, and you're like, at first you started laughing, like, oh,
it's ridiculous.
How dumb. And now it's like, there's so much.
There's so much. But then we talked about COVID. Going back to COVID, during COVID, we saw them shut people down.
Yeah.
Right?
Censor them.
Disinformation. Ivermectin. There's a report I just saw on Epic Health. Ivermectin actually does a hell of a lot more good for people and reverses the long-term COVID side effects than remdesivir, than Paxlovid, than all these other drugs. Now we know that the body of study out behind it is that ivermectin is actually really, really good and effective to take, way more ethical, than taking any of the other stuff.
Yeah.
Completely censored.
Yeah.
And you got looked down on. And the media, oh my gosh, they perpetuated. They went crazy.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we watched that video of Cuomo getting taken to task
by Dave Smith,
and he just made Cuomo look like an idiot. And then the narcissism of Cuomo comes in and says, well, I lived it better than probably any of you. I was closer to it.
I was closer to it than all of you guys.
That's the media. That's the media, right? They're not guilty of anything. In their minds, they're not guilty of anything. Well, why are they not guilty of anything? Because they're doing their fucking job.
Yeah, they're doing what they're told.
Exactly. That's their job. You are going to do what you're told. They're not reporters. They're not journalists. You know what they are?
They're mouthpieces.
They're soldiers.
Yeah.
Do you know why they're soldiers? Because they're doing what they're fucking told.
Yeah.
You're not questioning. And you're going out there and you're pushing your side and you're trying to win this battle of information.
The information battle.
Information control, right? They're soldiers on a battlefield. Mika, Joe.
Stop right there.
Soldiers on a battlefield. Play it.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I hear. What Yamiche just said is what I hear from all the Trump supporters that I talk to who were Trump voters and are still Trump supporters. They go, yeah, you guys are going crazy. He's doing, what are you so surprised about? He's doing exactly what he said he's going to do.
Well, and I think that the dangerous, edges here are that he's trying to undermine the media, trying to make up his own facts. And it could be that while unemployment and the economy worsens, he could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think, and that is our job.
That's Mika's job, to control what you think.
Right. I mean, that's oops, I said the quiet part out loud.
Yep.
He could actually control what people think, and that's our job.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
it's amazing. That clip is an amazing clip.
And it's the truth. That's what they're doing. It's the quiet part. It's a battle right now between information. Sure. And you have, we call Washington a uniparty.
Yeah.
And it really is.
It is.
But in that uniparty, you still have two sides that some people on the right play for team right, some people on the left play for team left, and most of the people that are part of the uniparty are only playing team right or team left because their constituents expect them to do so. If their people would vote for them no matter what, they would just do whatever the hell they wanted. Right? That's all they're doing.
Yep.
But you have news agencies that are reporting for team right or team left.
Yeah.
And they're controlled entities as well. So I did a little digging. How is it that MSNBC, which is not at all affiliated to CNN, are reporting the exact same things and the exact same facts, and they all have the same stories, and they're running the same shit all the time, right? Why are they both so far left? Why are they obviously the left-wing leaning entities? So we're going to go over some stuff. Now, you talked about right off the bat, we had that news agency with all the locals that ran that story. Sinclair, right? So National Amusements is owned by Summer Redstone.
Yep.
He's worth $4.6 billion.
Yep.
He owns things like BET. He owns like AXS TV or Access TV, CBS. He owns Nickelodeon, Paramount Home, the entertainment stuff. He owns Paramount Plus. He owns all that. He owns MTV. He owns Showtime. He owns, a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's one of the biggest, one of the 6 big media companies.
Yep, one of the 6 big, and that's what we're getting at here. in terms of print, he owns publishing companies.
Yep.
Right? Internet, he owns internet companies.
Correct.
Video games, he owns CBS Games. Buddies with the left.
Yeah.
Then you have Disney.
Yeah.
CEO Bob Iger. Yeah, something like that. Makes $44.9 million a year under contract.
Yeah.
They own A&E, ABC. They own ESPN. They own Marvel. You know, like Lucasfilms. It goes down the list of things that they own, right? So you have two right there that are far left that own those entities. Then now you can see why CBS and ABC report left-leaning stuff, and why it trickles down, why people on MTV report left-leaning stuff, and ESPN has reporters that are reporting left-leaning stuff. It starts to trickle down, right? Print companies, they own a pile of stuff in terms of editorials and magazines. Disney does, and then they own GameStar for video games. Time Warner, it's another one of the big ones. The CEO is Jeff Bukes. $32.5 million is what this guy makes.
Mm-hmm.
Time Warner owns CNN. They own HBO, Mad, Warner Brothers, TNT. The list goes on, right?
Yeah.
They own a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Same thing. They own Time and Time Life and DC.
Mm-hmm.
They invest in everything. I mean, they own tons of stuff with video games. Music industry, they own a lot of stuff in the music industry for record labels. And then the internet, they have Time Warner Cable, right?
Yeah.
So big time there. Comcast, Brian L. Roberts, CEO, $40 million a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're looking at CNBC, you're looking at MSNBC, you're looking at Hulu, you're looking at Bravo, you're looking at big media. I mean, the list goes on and on. Universal Studios, obviously they have Comcast and Xfinity, and then they invest in tons and tons of stuff. They have publications and stuff like that as well for, magazines and things like that. And then you have Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah.
Okay, $22 million. Now this is the right wing side.
Yeah.
He owns Fox, Fox Media, Fox everything that you can possibly believe is affiliate to Fox. BTN, Next. He owns FSN, Cult TV, MyTV, Voyage. He owns Wireless Fox News Network, print. He's got a ton of stuff in print with New York Post and Brooklyn Paper Company, Times Ledger, Market Watch, Bronx Times, Courier Life. I mean, he owns a ton in terms of print. Then the next one, you have Sony, right? Kazu Hirai, $4.9 million. This is making the least amount out of Sony. And Sony kind of has a weird mix of stuff. True, they own Triumph and Sony TV, Sony Sab, Sony Max, Madhouse, things of those nature. And then they own a lot of the music industry, right?
Yeah.
Sony's huge in the music industry.
Yep.
So out of all of those, you can start to see when those people who are all in league together are on one side of the coin, it's not hard. Outside of Murdoch, who's farther to the right, the rest of those individuals are leaning left in terms of their publications and their stuff like that, what they own. Now it's not hard to see how a Sinclair, how all of these people all come up with the same talking points.
Right.
There's a coordinated effort here. 100%.
Yeah, of course.
There's no getting away from it, right? If I own a corporation and I tell you, you're going to report this way, this is what we want, this is our business model, this is what we're going after.
Right.
Why are you doing it that way? Well, because this is what keeps making me money.
Yeah.
Right? This is what I'm doing. I
need my job.
I need my job. I need my niche. This is where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Scarborough is just the foot soldier. He's just the grunt on the ground.
Of course.
Right? The generals are these people that run these companies. They're the ones forming this battle, forming this war. And that's what this is. This is an information war that's taking place.
Yeah.
Who are they battling? The answer is us.
Yeah.
It's us.
Yeah, it's 100% us. Well, they're battling for the messaging, right?
Right.
To be able to get to us first.
Isn't that? I mean, that's disgusting.
Yeah, of course it is.
And the fact that people, like I talk about in my orbit, right? They don't see it. They don't get it. They think that what Joe Scarborough says, because they don't like Trump to begin with, or they don't like whatever policy, he's a mean guy, that whatever Joe Scarborough is saying is correct. But in reality, it's not Trump's job to control what you think. It's Mika's job.
Yeah,
right.
That's what she thinks.
It's in the beginning, the clip we played right off the bat. It's we want everybody to understand that fake news is dangerous to our democracy. It's dangerous to our. Yeah. That's what they do here. They do it all the time.
Yeah.
It's a battle that's taking place, and we're losing.
We are losing.
And why are we losing right now? Actually, we were losing. Thanks to Elon.
Yeah. I'll give you that.
Thanks to Elon, we now have a major entity back. And Trump was going it alone before Elon by creating True Social. Yeah. But Trump, no matter what, is going to be tainted as being to the right. He created True Social to basically give himself a platform after being taken off, right?
Right.
Elon got back Twitter, right? Mm-hmm. He gets back Twitter and he changes it to X.
Yep.
And it's free speech again.
Yeah.
That's huge. I mean, now you're seeing so many things coming out that are realistic, that are real, not realistic, that are being reported that never would have seen the light of day under Dorsey.
Right.
You hearing a rooster out there?
Yeah, there's a rooster. It's time to get up.
Yeah, it blows my mind how controlled everything is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's eye-opening, right? Like, we kind of talked about it and chuckled about it. Like, the more we find, the angrier we get. And it is a black hole. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. It's
I don't even know. Like, we talked about doing this one, and we wanted to say so much stuff, and it's just like, at the same time, I'm just speechless.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. And then you have our rooster out there.
Yeah, the rooster knows more.
He's crowing. He's wake up, everybody.
Yeah,
it's time
to wake up.
How prophetic is that?
Yeah, that's actually pretty good. How do you do that?
We named him Richard.
Richard, yeah.
Because he's a dick. He is a giant dick.
Oh, and not after Nixon?
Mm-mm.
Oh, got it.
No. Roosters, I don't know if you know this about chickens, but roosters are, you either get a nice one or you don't get a nice one. He is not
really?
nice. Yeah, he's not well, he's nice to anybody who's not afraid of him.
Is that like just a 50-50?
Yeah. Like, if my wife walks out there, he is like trying to attack her. If I walk out there, he stays away. I'm not afraid of kicking him. So, yeah, I don't care, Peter.
Yeah.
That thing, you come over here and try to.
Well, I mean, if it's coming after you.
Yeah, you have no
roosters
choice.
are mean.
Yeah, they are. But yeah, he's out there going ballistic. He knows.
Yeah.
Time to wake up.
He knows.
And this is, like you said, the more we've looked at it, the deeper we go. Like, where does this rabbit hole end?
I don't know.
And that's the problem.
I don't know.
It goes deep.
Yeah, dude.
And I
don't know how you solve this one, because like you talked about on the last podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's constitutionally protected, but there has to be some accountability.
You shouldn't be able to knowingly lie. Like right now, I can't remember her name. Was it Caitlin Collins?
I don't know.
The female journalist I brought up, and I was like, she's lying. She's lying right now.
I don't remember her name though.
I can't remember, but the premise behind it was, I
think it was Collins.
She's ardently against Trump, and she's kind of vicious.
Yeah.
And I mean, she does a good job being adversarial.
Sure.
For sure. But they're still propagating the lie.
Yeah.
They're still standing by it. They're still backing it up. So, like, I mean, if I'm going to use this as an example, for an example of the laptop's now been used in court. It's true. It's Hunter Biden's laptop.
Yeah.
Anybody after this that tries saying that it's disinformation.
Yep.
You should be held liable. You know that it's a lie.
Yeah, yeah.
You know that it's a lie.
Yeah, I just don't know how you do that.
I don't either, because it's protected. It's free speech, right? I mean, it's constitutionally protected. You can say whatever you want. Media, you have the right to free press.
Seems like and I say this, I'm going to use this phrase, but I don't mean it. seems like if you have the trust of the public, there has to be some sort of responsibility.
There should be, but we're not seeing it.
Yeah,
we're not seeing.
No, it's obviously not there. Like you can pull up hundreds of stories,
right,
where they just completely lie about it.
Well, when the framers' intention wasn't with creating free press, it wasn't to create a monopoly.
Right.
It wasn't an information monopoly. That's not what their intent was, right? You couldn't just say whatever you wanted. But what it meant was you couldn't be shut down for publicizing or making something public, right? You couldn't be shut down for wanting access. And what you're seeing now is because people haven't been shut down, they're saying whatever they want. It's an opinion.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, Trump's telling the truth, and somebody else's opinion, Trump's lying, and here we go.
Well, then that's just it.
We have Sean Hannity versus frickin' Brian Stelter. That's a mismatch and a half, but you have Sean Hannity versus Brian Stelter. And Hannity's reporting something farther to the right, and Brian Stelter is reporting something farther to the left, or Chris Cuomo and whoever else, or Don Lemon and whoever else, Rachel Maddow, whoever else. The point is they all have the same stories. The reason they all have the same stories, the reason why they're all 90% negative coverage against the one guy who came in as a wrecking ball is because
he exposed them.
He exposes it, right? He exposes the corruption. He exposes the establishment. He exposes the elite. He exposes everything. All the kickbacks that are coming around, all the stuff. I mean, I bet you if we looked worldwide and we looked at we didn't do this for this, but I bet you if we looked at entities worldwide, what's owned worldwide, I bet you a lot of that worldwide control is all in on this same thing.
Yeah, I would bet.
And I think there's just bigger implications. They're just it's Operation Shield, man. It's just
just covering.
They're just covering for it, right? They're just making sure that they can keep their power vacuum in order, keeping that structure in place. How many clips do we have? I mean, we have like numerous sound bites that you can find.
I mean, we've got one from Brian Stelter talking about how the laptop's fake and how Trump's using it to lie to people. We've got one from Joe Scarborough that talks about how the laptop's fake. All these guys knew it was true. They knew because they all have connections in the Justice Department that probably told them like, hey, yep, it is. Like if they had just gone out to ask, they would have said, yeah, no, that's legit. It's been authenticated.
And you talked about in the last episode, was it Facebook or it was Twitter?
Twitter. That in the testimony that they were on a conference call with the FBI, and the FBI said that somebody from Twitter asked like, "Hey, is this real or not?" And they said, "Yeah, it is." And then somebody else from the FBI got on and said, "There's no further comment." Like the FBI knew it was too. Right. The FBI's in on it.
Of course,
they were in on that lie.
Yeah, that does.
Just like they were in when they knew Hillary Clinton's campaign was making that dossier. They knew that they were fucking coming up with dirt that was lies. The top of the FBI knew it, and they didn't tell the people underneath. Then they leaked it to the press, and they gave it to the FBI, and the Washington, or who was it? It was, shoot, now I can't remember whatever.
Washington Post.
Washington Post. Yeah, I think it was a friendly reporter to the campaign from the Washington Post put the story out there, and then the Clinton campaign said, see, look at the Washington Post is even running it, it's true. And so then the FBI started investigating. It was all lies. That they got fined $115,000 because they didn't put it down correctly on the payments for
campaign finance. Which, I mean...
Well, where's that fucking familiar?
Yeah, right. Well, one's going to go to prison and one's not, right?
Correct.
And, again, we talk about Operation Shield, right? When you're president, you get to pick who your director of the FBI is. You get to pick who the director of the CIA is, director of the NSA is. You get to pick, for all of your alphabet soup agencies, you pick who you want in charge. It's a political appointee. Then he picks his deputy director, and so on and so forth, right? It goes down the line, and you're putting people in place. But every person that's a director surrounds himself with people who are a team, whatever he's playing for.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when the next director comes in, he's got to weed out all those people, and it just trickles down. So in all of the positions, and to add to that, that also happens to be, which we now know happens to coincide with your embassies, right?
Yeah.
So your embassy staff and whoever you have that is going to be your envoy to whatever country, right?
Yeah.
That's come back to bite Trump in the ass because of, who was it? The chick who was our she was our contact for Ukraine.
Oh man.
Well, she came back and went against Trump.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the whole impeachment thing.
Well, that's we kind of talked about that. Like, maybe we talked about it on here, maybe we didn't. That he had to, like, he felt he had to include some of those people that were against him, the establishment types, because he wouldn't have been able to get anything done. Like, just to get whatever. And so he brought these people in, they turned on him.
Yeah, I can't remember her name. She was the ambassador to Ukraine, and she was there during the Viktor Shokin being fired. And she basically, her and that colonel.
She was there during Shokin. That was during the Obama administration, too. So he just left her there?
Yes. Well, he replaced her, and it was early on in his presidency that he replaced her, and it was the impeachment, if I remember correctly, it was her and somebody else having a conversation, and the person who was the whistleblower had information third hand, not first hand. I mean, he didn't hear the call. He heard it from somebody else who heard the call, or heard it from somebody else who heard it from somebody else who heard the call, and then he blew the whistle. But I do remember when they went to blow the whistle, Adam Schiff had to get the whistleblower paperwork changed because you couldn't go after the President of the United States with whistleblower stuff or, hearing a phone call or third
wasn't
party.
It like wasn't the guy that was just like on the call to transcribe it or something? He was a Navy guy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was yeah, I can't remember his name. He was a real peach. He did a great job.
Marie Ivanovich?
Yep.
Was the ambassador.
She was the ambassador.
And now, who was the Navy guy?
That's going to bother me.
He was a whistleblower.
Alexander Vindman.
Vindman, that's right. Good call.
Yeah, so it was Marie Ivanovich and Vindman. And Vindman was supposedly the whistleblower, but he didn't hear the phone call.
Right, he heard about it from somebody else.
He heard about it from somebody else.
Hearsay.
And it was probably from Yovanovitch.
Probably.
And I can remember when they went in to talk about, when they started drafting the articles of impeachment, or they did a pre-investigation to see if they were going to draft articles of impeachment. It was all the Democrats went into the basement of the Capitol, and they put the sergeant at arms
at the door. They wouldn't let the Republicans in.
Wouldn't let any Republicans in to go through this, and they brought in the whistleblower, they brought in all their people, and they got all their stories in a row. And then they came out in the House and did this circus show, and they wouldn't let the Republicans have any witnesses of their own.
Right.
So they brought in all these people and, basically made this carnival show, Adam Schiff run carnival show, and then they shoved the impeachment up all the way up to Capitol Hill, all the way up to the Senate. They didn't let the Republicans do anything, and then obviously it got voted down. It was a Republican-led Senate, and it got voted down. But it's crazy where all this starts, this shielding program, this I mean, you said it, Hillary paid for the dossier, the Steele dossier from Fusion GPS, right? So Glenn Simpson creates this dossier, he lies about stuff and gets salacious material from somebody that they know it's fake, all of it's fake. He comes back, Hillary Clinton has it, she then turns it over to the FBI. The FBI uses the dossier from Glenn Simpson's Fusion GPS, from Christopher Steele, with a bunch of salacious material, while simultaneously Hillary leaks it to reporters. The FBI goes to the FISA court saying, we have this dossier that was created, and then all of a sudden the information starts coming out in the media, and they say, look, they have the same information, so our sources must be legit.
True.
So
must be true.
We need the warrant to spy on the Trump campaign. So Trump gets the warrant taken out against him, and then he's made aware of it through a whistleblower who tells him, hey, they're spying on your campaign. So Trump said they're spying on me. Really, it was you're under surveillance for a warrant, which,
Right.
yes, you're still being spied on. That's exactly what it is.
That's what it is.
That all went crazy, right? And then that led to the Robert Mueller investigation. A special counsel was put together, and Robert Mueller did 2 years of an investigation with a whole pile of Democrats. And the reason why it got blown up, if you remember, Peter Strzok went to be part of the Mueller investigation.
Oh, I remember.
And it got dimed out that Peter Strzok was on the Hillary Clinton thing, and then the whole, I can smell the Trump support in Walmart, and this, he was such an arrogant, pompous little turd.
He works for CNN still.
Of course he does. He's another one I'd like to slap the shit out of. His affair with Lisa Page became evident. Everything came out. It started to bundle up, and you started to see what was really going on. And then you really got this. You got a giant sense of what was taking place in the FBI, right? Hillary Clinton was exonerated by the FBI leading up to the election cycle, right? You had Bill Clinton and Lynch on the tarmac, right?
Yeah.
And all of this stuff was taking place. At the time, Loretta Lynch was part of the Justice Department, right?
Yeah, she was handling the email scandal.
She was handling all of it. And all of a sudden, Bill Clinton's there. There he is on the tarmac to talk about grandkids, nothing else.
Yeah, of course.
You have the FBI drafting the exoneration letter, and that was Peter Strzok. Before he even before he even met with Hillary Clinton, Uma Abedin, which is her personal aide, or any of the people that were part of it.
All together.
Yeah,
the lawyer, everybody was in the same room.
Interviewed them together, right? That's never been done, right? The typical tactic is you separate everybody, get their story, and see if the stories match, and you go hard at them, right?
Yep. Correct.
That didn't happen. They brought him in. It was a formality.
Yeah.
That's all it was. It was a formality. Why? Because they were all left-leaning. Why? Because that's where they were appointed. And you had James Comey, who was in charge of the FBI at the time. Again, he was a conservative, if you believe that. He's uniparty. He's uniparty. It's the swamp, right? And then you have a little ways down the road, you have WikiLeaks happen, and some of these emails start coming out.
Yep.
And Comey has no choice but to reopen the investigation and to go and look at things for classified information because Julian Assange blew Hillary up.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Seth Rich and all that kind of stuff.
It doesn't ring a bell right now.
All right, I'm going to blow you up right now.
Let's do it.
This is a conspiracy. I don't know if it's true or not, but I do think it's interesting. Seth Rich worked for the DNC, and
this is
the kid that was killed when all the emails and stuff were being being found when Julian Assange got it. Julian Assange has made numerous references to. He hasn't come out and said that Seth Rich was the guy who got him the information, but he's made numerous references where people have said, "Oh yeah, that's pertaining to Seth Rich." So you don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say he is the kid or didn't, but he was killed in a mugging attempt and nobody took his money. He was shot in the back or whatever it was, and tragic. But there's that whole spiel. So you have James Comey at the time of all this taking place, while emails are being taken by Julian Assange, he goes back in and he reinvestigates Hillary, right? And he comes out and says, well, we're not going to charge her because nobody would charge her for what she did. She didn't know that she had classified materials, but she did have classified materials and this, that, and the other thing. Yeah. Well, how is that different from Trump?
It's not. And you know what's funny is the shit that came out with the cover sheets that they put out, the cover sheets on all those, that photo on the floor. Yep. They added all those cover sheets, so there was no markings on the documents. It was the same exact thing, but they added them and then took the picture to
we know
show,
right? That kind of information has to be conspicuously marked, right? With a cover sheet, top and bottom, right? It has to say what it is. Well, if you don't know it's classified, you're not going to have markings on it.
Yeah, but there weren't markings on it.
But they took the picture to make it look like Trump knew. Trump knew he was taking
that says top secret on it. That was added.
The difference, and this is what gets me the most, the difference between Trump and Hillary. If Trump knew that he had classified information, all he has to do is shred it and burn it. Those documents are gone, right? You would never know. You'd never know that there's classified information there because it's gone.
Well, there's
Hillary Clinton did do that.
Yeah.
She didn't shred it and burn it. But
she tried to use the bleach bit.
She bleach bit her software and she pulverized her.
Destroyed the
hard drives and the Blackberries, right? So she did try to subvert the system.
Right.
And got caught and still had nothing.
Yep.
Nothing happened. Nothing took place.
Yeah.
Hillary's the pay-to-play stuff that was going on there is you're starting to see it with Biden too.
Mm-hmm.
They both had that operation set up for access through the Clinton Foundation. I know this is another thing I want to look at, and I can't remember. I think I heard it on either Levin or Glenn Beck or somebody covered it, that the donations to the Clinton Foundation after she had left the State Department.
Oh, yeah.
It just like dropped off the map.
Well, after she lost the
election. It dropped off the map.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia stopped donating.
Well, why?
Like, weird.
Why all of a sudden, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's supporting the foundation. Well, because if there's nobody, if you don't have any power anymore.
They don't need you.
They don't need you.
You're no longer a useful idiot.
You are no longer. So, I mean, this is what we're battling right now. And as the media, you should be reporting shit like that. You should be reporting stuff that, oh, look at this. You should, whether you're CNN, MSNBC, Reuters, BBC, it doesn't matter. You need to be reporting that.
It shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't matter. And they didn't. They're running cover, right? And they have been running cover. I mean, they still have Hillary on saying that Trump is still linked to Russia. They still have Hillary saying all sorts of other stuff, that the democracy's never been in greater jeopardy than it is right now. And she's still out there saying this stuff. Bitch, you paid for the frickin' dossier.
Yeah, you started all this
You
shit.
started all of it, you psychotic bitch, and you are still saying this stuff.
Yeah.
You know why? You know why it's such a danger? Because Trump said, she said it in the debate, it's a good thing with somebody of your temperament is not president right now. And Trump said, yeah, because you'd be in jail.
Correct.
She does need to be in jail, and they are terrified of what he might do.
Yeah, but he didn't do anything the first time.
He didn't, but I also don't think that he could because he was being bombarded from the minute he got in there.
Yeah, but that's not going to change. You're going to just pull something else out this time.
Yeah, and part of me thinks that he was slow playing it because he thought he would have a second run. And in the next 4 years, maybe he would have done something, right? Like, I think he was positioning himself to try to figure out who he had to support and what he could do.
Yeah.
He was doing his political, like, he was actually getting stuff done, reorganizing the economy.
Sure.
And then I think in his second term, he was going to be like, all right, here's some dimes that I'm going to drop. I hope. I like to think that that's what he was going to do.
Yeah, I hope so too.
But then he all of a sudden had COVID hit, and now you're 2 years into your frickin' presidency. You're battling COVID. You have all sorts of crap. 3 years in or whatever it was.
3 years.
You're battling all sorts of crap. You have a whole new slew of problems that you have to take care of, and you have to back burner everything else. Plus, on top of that, you're battling impeachment stuff. Plus, on top of that, you're battling the media. Plus, so I don't think he could. I think he just got caught up, right? I mean, if he makes it in this time around, maybe he goes scorched earth.
I hope so. I hope he declassifies everything.
Yeah, we both hope that, but you and I, neither one of us think he's getting in.
I don't know. I think he is.
I don't think they'll let him.
I don't think. Well, okay. So I said this a long time ago, and you kind of called me crazy for it, which is funny because you're the one with the crazy thoughts.
Yeah.
But sorry, that was a dig for no reason. I'm sorry.
It's okay because I've been right about 99% of the time.
No, I know, but it's just crazy when you say it. Just you, nobody else.
Nobody.
I think they're going to replace Biden. I think they're going to do it at the last minute.
I agree.
Everyone has said, I've been saying that for a long time, and everybody's been like, no. Yeah, I 100% agree that he's going to get removed because the way the polls are now, like, Trump's up 15 points in Iowa.
I just don't know who you have that you can run.
I don't know.
Unless
I don't know
it's
who they're
Michelle
going to
Obama.
get. I don't know who they're going to get, but they're going to have to replace him.
They'll probably, they'd have to be Michelle Obama. That's the only pick you have. You can't put anybody else in there. Gavin Newsom can't get you done. He can't get it there. You'd have to pick. Barack Obama was absolutely loved by the left.
Yeah.
And I honestly think he was probably one of the best speaking presidents I've ever seen.
Of course.
He was like JFK.
He's very charismatic.
Yeah. He was, and he's funny.
Yeah.
Was he a good president? I don't think so.
No, I don't either. But
Policy-wise. But I think, like, in terms of...
he was able to influence people
yes.
based on his
yes.
speaking.
Yeah. Yeah, he was smooth and sly and debonair. And
of course.
Until he got on that damn bike with that stupid helmet on. And then it was like, bro, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
You're supposed to look powerful, not like that.
What are you doing? Put like a little mini nuke on the helmet.
Yeah, do something. Wear a combat helmet.
Yeah, dude.
Put a tack vest on, bro. Like, that is bad luck.
Fucking bike helmet.
But I still think Obama was, I don't know if you've ever read Dreams of My Father, the book you wrote. I haven't read it, but I've listened to a bunch of people on podcasts who quote multiple things from that book. I'm gonna have to get that and read it, because if they're telling the truth in their podcast, where he's basically, he doesn't like that there's a superpower on Earth. You know, he thinks that every country should be equal, and in order to create equality throughout all these nations, you can't have the superpower. The superpower's got to give up some of its strength so that everybody else can be raised up.
Yeah.
And when you look at all the stuff that his dad believed in, and you look at where he came from, and you look at, I don't like even Trump's argument, there's no birth certificate, there's just a certificate of birth, which are different.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between a birth certificate and a certificate of birth, and people don't understand that. There's a difference. Look at it. One's, you know, you get on the spot, and the other one you don't. The other one it just says, yeah, you were born.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at all this stuff that's going on and where Obama's been, he's got a lot of experience, but I think Obama really just cut us up into groups.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely divided.
That's what he did.
Yeah.
I don't think was it on purpose? I don't know. Maybe it was.
I don't know that you can, like, consistently do what he did and not be doing it on purpose.
I think it was for political motivations.
Yeah,
right. I mean,
for sure.
When he came out and said that Trayvon Martin looked like he could have been his son.
Yeah, dude,
right?
that was 100% to divide.
And again, when the media comes out and they say that the guy who killed, what was it, George Zimmerman? I think Zimmerman was his name, but he was Hispanic, right? But they came out and said a white guy shot a black kid, and he's Hispanic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just the disingenuous stuff and the stuff that's come out. I mean, you see all this crap and the continued lies. This has gone on forever. So I don't know. In terms of like Biden being replaced, who you replace him with, it's got to be Michelle Obama. It can't be.
I don't know.
It can't be anybody else. There's nobody else that can beat Trump. The only like you could do like a Michelle Obama and Oprah Winfrey ticket, and you'd have a lot of people on the left. That would be your. That would be.
They were saying what they were. I think I saw somewhere they were talking about Hillary and Kamala on a ticket.
Fuck no.
Yeah, well.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Where did you see that?
I don't remember.
Bro, those are two of the most evil bitches
I believe
on the planet.
I believe what I read was that'd be so much
cackling.
That's
perfect.
That's what it was. I don't think America can handle that much cackling.
Dude. Okay. Well known in military circles.
Yeah.
Well known.
Yep.
Hillary is a giant bitch.
Yeah.
Well, nice.
There's
nice.
a bunch of books out too about like the Secret Service agents that had them, like from Chelsea, like talking about. My mom and dad said blah blah blah.
We'll talk not on podcast. I will let you in on some Hillary stories that
copy.
She is a giant.
You don't get to hear them. Sorry, guys.
No, but I'm not.
But we'll look up the quotes, because there are actual publications that have put quotes out from Secret Service agents, like calling them dogs and all sorts of shit that our mom would say to the people protecting them. Like Chelsea didn't have to listen to them because they're just dogs, or I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was completely just disparaging to the people that are there to protect your life.
Well, I mean, if you're the wife of a guy who gets caught, cigar banging a chick in the Oval Office, right?
Yeah.
And your first instinct isn't to blame your husband, it's to go after her.
Yeah. Yeah.
That tells you all you need to know.
Right, for sure.
That tells you all you need to know.
For sure.
She's a terrible
human.
Yeah. I mean, and that was not just Monica. She went after the others too, because there was more than one.
Yeah, there was some from when he was Arkansas governor.
Mm-hmm. Broderick. Yeah. If you, no matter what, that couple has scandals all the way to Arkansas, all the way to now. Yeah. And then the thing that really pissed me off.
They suicide people.
Mm-hmm. And Benghazi. Benghazi really pissed me off.
Yeah.
What they did there with the group that was in Benghazi was absolutely disgusting. And then the lie, right? I mean, this was the Obama administration.
Yeah, it was about a video.
Yep. It was about
nothing to do with it.
It was a known attack carried out on September 11th.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But they got the ambassador there killed, right? Ambassador Stevens was killed, plus some other folks, 4 in total, or maybe 5 in total, that were U.S. personnel.
Yeah.
A couple contractors, the ambassador's tech, and I think there was one other that was killed as well.
Yeah.
Complete garbage. And going back to the media, look at how the media covered that. They covered it as it was our fault. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything related to terror. It was, this.
Well, didn't they arrest that dude that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they arrested
put the video on YouTube.
Right.
Jesus Christ. I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Same thing with Assange. They went after Assange. Assange got stuff given to him.
Yeah.
And they're going after him and they would go after that other kid too. Snowden.
Yeah.
They'd go after him too.
Yeah.
They can't because Putin's got him, but they'd go after him. He's either in China or he's in Russia.
He's in Russia, I thought.
Yeah, you never know where he just surfaces. But I noticed that now he's on X. He's not censored on X.
No, well, thanks, Elon.
Right? Do you remember what he was?
Yeah, it was the NSA spying on people, recording everybody's cell phone data.
Recording everybody's metadata, everybody's conversations, text messages. Yeah. And he blew the whistle on it.
Yeah.
After Brennan, it was Clapper. After Clapper had lied, testified under oath that was not taking place.
Yeah.
And he blew that up. And I remember when it came out, the media wasn't mad about him testifying or him being a whistleblower. They're mad that it made everything more dangerous.
Yeah, they weren't mad about the other thing.
They weren't mad that we were all being spied on. They were mad that...
Just crazy.
How can you take the power away during the war on terror? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, they have a narrative, and they are all on the same page for the narrative.
Well, they like we said, they just get whatever their marching orders are from whoever. Whether it's the DNC or the RNC or whoever it is.
You can see the narrative. Well, I mean, let's think about this. After 9/11, the narrative was, we got to go get them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
9/11 led into the Patriot Act, right? Where they stole freedom from Americans and let the NSA spy on you, right?
Yeah.
They went to Afghanistan, and the first thing they did wasn't kill Al-Qaeda. The first thing they did was kill the Taliban, right? So we attacked the Taliban first, and then we pushed Al-Qaeda up into the mountains, and then went after Al-Qaeda. Had Al-Qaeda balled up in the mountains in the Torah Mountains range, and they ended up taking off over into Pakistan, and Bush never sent everybody in. They could have put people on the backside and dropped us in, and we never did.
Yeah.
Delta had them. I think it was Delta Force had them within 300 yards, 300 meters. So close that they were picking them up on Icon. It's like a Motorola radio.
Okay.
Never happened, right? So the first narrative was all about the war. Then the next narrative was weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. There's no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. That was complete bullshit.
Correct.
Then after that, it was Bush bled into Obama, right?
Yep.
And then it was universal health care. Everybody deserves health care. The media all got online, talked about that. And then it was anti-police, right? Trayvon Martin and what was the Michael Brown was the first one, right? That was one where Michael Brown punched the cop in the face in his squad car as he pulled up next to him.
The strong arm robbery, and the cop pulled him over.
Yep.
Walking down the middle of the road, and
he wouldn't get out of the way.
Yeah.
You know, the cop pulled up next to him when he went to open his door, and he shut the door and then punched him. And then the cop drew his weapon because he was in the squad car and ended up shooting him in the hand. There's physical evidence of a gunshot wound in the hand with DNA in the squad car on the weapon. And then he walked away, right? And the officer got out of his car at gunpoint and told him to stop, and then he turned around and charged him, and the officer engaged him and ended up shooting him. But remember, the lie was he was executed in the street. The media said that he was executed and that he was murdered. They said murdered.
And there's a video clip on YouTube of that scene, and somebody in the crowd saying, "No, that's not what happened."
Yep.
Like instantly, there was one.
Right, but it wasn't listened to. Right, it was a narrative that was being shaped.
It was suppressed.
Well, it was a narrative that was being shaped. Right, the left never misses the opportunity to rally the wagons. You know what I mean? To circle the wagons and rally the troops for whatever it is of the day. So that bled into Obama's gay marriage, right?
Yeah.
Gay marriage law of the land.
Yep.
That was the media jumped on that and ran cover and shield for that. Never questioned Obama's 4 years earlier, before he was president, running and saying, yeah, marriage is between a man and a woman. That was never brought up. That was just all of a sudden, look, we're doing this now.
Yeah.
Obama's connections through the church he went through, that was never brought up. That was covered by the media. Obama's affiliation to the Palestinian Authority was never brought up. I mean, he was a lawyer that covered a lot of Palestinian causes.
Yeah.
That was never brought up. After that, it was climate change towards the end of Obama's shtick, right? And the media jumped on board. I mean, jumped on board hard with climate change. I mean, Obama still is the only president to this day. I think it was 2015. He said that the seas were going to rise 4.5 feet or 5 feet within like 10 years, which really that means if the seas rise 5 feet, I mean, you're looking at like a massive increase. He said most of Florida would be underwater. He said it would be underwater in our child's lifetimes. Then he goes and buys a house in Martha's Vineyard at sea level.
Yeah, at sea level.
Right? $12 million mansion, $12.5 million mansion, right? Then Trump came in office, and it was Russia, right? The media all jumped on board, the Steele dossier. Then it was impeachment. Then it was COVID. Then Trump gets ushered out of office, and Biden's back in, and it's COVID. And you remember when we were all being locked down? It was right after Biden got in office, I think. And you couldn't go do anything, lots of places were closed. And I think it was Pelosi opened up a barbershop or opened up a salon so she could go get her hair done. Maxine Waters did some shit. Gavin Newsom traveled. Gretchen Whitmer from Michigan went to Florida for a vacation where she was like...
That was during Trump, though, when we were locked down.
The initial lockdown was.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's when most of it was shut down, but they had all their people open up their shit. Because I remember that because the girls were born and Brenda was out of work. And so it ended up working out well for us because she got paid.
Wasn't it only 2 weeks, though, that Trump locked everything down?
No, we were gone. Brenda was out of school. Brenda was home with the girls for almost 6 months.
Well, that was schools. I know schools ended early.
Yeah, it was school. But she goes year-round. She used to go year-round.
Oh. So let me think, because Trump was...
Because that was during the election. It was during the election. Yeah, that's how they get
COVID hit here. COVID hit here. The first reported case in COVID was in September of 2020.
No.
Look back. Look that up. I would be willing to bet
the girls were born in January.
Let's look this up. This is a big one.
Yeah, dude. Because in September that was the election. September 20. No, November was the election. You're thinking 2019.
I think I am. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was. Here's why I know. Brenda's dad died. They basically had the last funeral that people were allowed to be at for the Catholic Church in this area.
This isn't right.
And that was in March.
So the first COVID case was January
2020.
20th of 2020.
Yeah.
So Trump already would have been out of office.
No. Biden. The election was November 2020.
Oh yeah. My timetable's way off.
Yeah, dude. You gotta stop doing drugs.
Oh, they're good.
You're gonna turn off the counter.
I won't leave a laptop.
He didn't know he left the laptop.
No, you have the laptop, so I can't leave it.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah.
All right.
Shh. And there's no red flag laws here.
Yeah,
so
don't worry. No one's listening to this, so it's fine.
Yeah. So January 20th. So then it was COVID.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
then
yeah.
Trump locked it all down. Trump's lockdown.
Well, it was Fauci.
Well, then Trump's to blame for it.
Well, 100% he's to blame. He went along with it.
You're the guy that's implementing it, so
Yep.
Trump's to blame for
Yep.
the lockdowns. So then it was lockdowns are bad, then lockdowns are good. Then Biden comes into office, and it's more lockdowns good, and vaccination mandate stuff. But remember, in that vaccination mandate stuff, the media said,
Yeah, they when Trump was in office, you had to wait and see what the studies were. And then when Biden was in office, it was everyone needs to get this.
Everyone.
Without looking at the studies. Like Trump would do it and hurt you. Biden wouldn't do it to hurt you. Is basically what they were peddling. You can't trust Trump, but you can trust Biden.
yeah, clearly.
Yeah, obviously that worked out.
And then you can't forget the January 6th stuff.
Even though the whole point of that was, well, it was basically made under Trump because we got the first Brenda got the first one before the election.
Well, warp speed was Trump, right?
Yeah.
He had it out
Yes.
within 6
100%.
months.
Yep.
6 months.
Yep.
So, but I think that I can't remember what Trump said on the campaign trail, but I thought like it came out right at the beginning of the election or right before the election.
It was like right before the election.
And then the election happened and he was gone, and then the majority of the vaccine hit.
Right. Well, because they got it out and there was a limited supply. So there was basically like each state got so many. And so they prioritized like the hospital workers and
I remember
the
that.
schools.
I do remember
like
that.
that's why Brenda got it. Each
first-
school district got so many. She was
First
higher up.
responders and frontline
She got
people
it
got it
for
first.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember that.
Because she was in charge of the preschool, so like she could be there.
Man, this has gone on for years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And nobody saw it. Nobody caught it.
Well, it's not that they didn't see it or they didn't catch it. It's that they've been covering it up.
Yeah.
They've been running coverage, Operation Shield, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's
the all-encompassing operation for everything.
Just to keep your side in power.
Correct. Anything you can do to hurt the other side.
Yeah.
And run cover for the people that are doing that and to get them back into power.
Like, say it again, it's a battlefield. It's a battle
It's a
space.
battlefield. Put it on the battle space.
Mm-hmm. And that's what you're seeing. And Mika and Joe are soldiers in that battle, and so is Stelter, so is Cuomo, so is Maddow, so is Hannity. So, I mean, Tucker Carlson got fired for trying to be blowing the, whistle on stuff.
Yeah.
What was it? There was something that happened at Fox News where they were getting sued. What was that?
The sexual harassment stuff?
No.
They got sued over the Trump stuff. Didn't they all have to, because they all had to fucking put in their, all their text messages about Trump, and it was about the election stuff. The fake, did they get sued by the maker of Dominion or whoever
That's
it was?
what it was, Dominion.
Yeah,
okay.
And then Dominion demanded that they fired Tucker.
Wow.
That was part of the settlement.
It's a bold move.
Well, wouldn't you want to get rid of the guy that's been Like, and now there's like, there was a letter that came out. I should have printed it. God, I'm really bad at this. I'll get better. There was a letter signed by like Amy Klobuchar and 3 other Democratic senators to Dominion before like the 2020 election, talking about how they were concerned that there could be vote switching.
Well, that was like the conspiracy.
That
right?
was, but that was the Democrats that did it before, and then all of a sudden the Republicans bring it up, and it's nope, that's not a thing. That's not it at all.
Did you ever see that Mike Lindell thing that he did?
No.
I watched that because I was curious as to like, is this real? Is it not real? Like I said, I put everything in the battle space.
Yeah.
And he had on all these like premier hacker people that were like showing you things with
well then
transcripts. Like some lady had brought a laptop to him or some hard drive of all the evidence.
Yeah.
And they went through it and were talking about stuff, and like it didn't do it for me. And I'll tell you why. I didn't understand 95% of the shit they were saying.
That's part of the problem,
right?
right?
I mean, if they could have dumbed it down to military, I would have been like, well, yeah, okay, I get it. But it was just above me.
Wasn't there like a hearing or a court case where they were talking about how they couldn't get hacked and someone hacked it in the courtroom?
Yeah, that was the voting machine itself.
The voting machine. Yeah. Like, no, you can't do this. And there's a dude in the gallery that did it.
Well, if I remember correct, if memory serves, they weren't supposed to be connected to LAN.
Yeah.
But they have to be so that you can get live time results.
Right.
And so you could still, that's how they got into it. They hacked it because it was connected to LAN. And I know that right before the election, there was updates that went into these things. Like these people showed up unprompted to update the systems, and everybody screamed about that. And that's why Mike Lindell did his thing. And Mike Lindell's whole shtick was that votes were switched from Trump to Biden because the software was there on the machine to allow that to happen.
Yeah.
And he said there's like a certain percentage or an algorithm there that a certain amount were switched over, and that's why you got the 3 o'clock in the morning spike. That's their contention.
Right.
They had if you're a computer programmer person, they sounded like they knew what they were talking about.
Yeah.
I had no idea what they were talking
about.
Well,
that's part of the problem. It's so technical. Like, you wouldn't be able to.
The stop the steal thing for me, the things that I saw, ballot harvesting.
Yeah. Well, those are the ones that you can see, like, clearly.
Right.
Right? Like, there's been people that have been prosecuted.
Mm-hmm.
There's too much circumstantial evidence to say that it's, what did Yogi Berra's quote? It's too coincidental to be a coincidence.
Right.
All the cameras on these voting boxes were down.
Right.
Like, come on.
So, and
people caught with ballots, people printing, the lady in Atlanta printing ballots.
Yep. And here's the thing that gets me, like the media's, they always say that there was no proof of any tampering in the election.
Correct.
And then when you point out there was, and then they will come back and they change it, just kind of like COVID, how they started off with it's 100% effective. Okay, well now it's 80% now. Then they come back and they say, well, not enough to sway the outcome of the election.
Do we know that?
Right.
Right. How do we know that?
And
because it's not like you're tampering, you ballot harvesting and running extra ballots, all that. That's not going to show you any tampering.
Correct.
It's like that wasn't there a Wisconsin town that had like 110% of the population voted?
Yes.
Yeah. How the fuck does that work?
I can't remember how that turned out either. But
no, and you won't.
Somebody did get in trouble for that. They went after the lady. Went after somebody for that. I remember they did go after somebody. But I can't remember what the outcome was because it was years ago.
Yeah.
But again, I think it was Georgia where it was like 10 o'clock at night. They had kicked out all the poll workers, right? And so you're supposed to have poll watchers there watching to make sure there's nothing nefarious taking place.
Correct.
Supposed to while you're running ballots. Yeah. Okay, they said they're shutting down for the night. They closed everything. And it was shortly after that, there was several women that are sitting in this poll, and then she goes to a table, and I don't know, you've seen the video, right?
Yeah.
Reaches underneath the table, lifts the skirting up on the table, pulls out like a tough box full of ballots, drags it over to her tabulator, and starts running ballots through the tabulator.
Yeah.
And she ran the same stack through 3 times, and then she did another stack and did that. And that to me if that's not visual evidence, like, now, granted, we don't know the circumstances.
Yeah.
Maybe it took 3 times to run through because the system was finicky.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe there's probably explanations behind it.
It could
right?
be.
There could be an explanation.
But this is how conspiracies start.
This
right?
is how
this
it
is what we
starts.
talk. Because the media lies to you,
Correct.
and they're caught lying to you.
Right.
Now you can't believe them.
You can't
so now
trust it.
you see something that could have a legitimate thing.
Yep.
Right? Maybe she was calibrating the machine, and that's how you did it.
And that could have been right.
Maybe.
Right.
But we don't know.
We don't know.
And no one's asked that question.
And nobody will believe
no
it.
one wants to talk about it.
Well, when the media says there's no proof of election
Right.
interference, and of course there is.
Yeah.
Of course
the
there's-
media is the biggest part of
Right.
election interference.
Well, look at all these states that unilaterally changed how the election was going to be run, right? Without going through their constitutional process. Just saying, okay, well, we're going to keep polls open to this, or we're going to early balloting this, and all because of COVID, they basically made laws that weren't laws, just changed things. Well, that's not what you do. You have a process, a constitutional process that you have to follow. They didn't.
Yeah.
When that was done, and that's interference, that's tampering in an election.
Yeah.
I think afterwards there was all these ballots that were supposed to be sealed that were never sealed. There was just tons of stuff that out of all the countries in the world, you would figure the United States, the beacon of freedom, your election process, you'd have zero availability for cheating.
Right. You would think, like, Florida figured it out after they had that fucking giant issue. Like, and I get, and I like that everybody's kind of got their own little system so that it's not easy to crack everyone. However, get your shit together.
Yeah. I can remember being overseas for the first Iraqi election. And did you ever see the videos of people holding up their hands?
Yeah, the purple thumbprints.
Thumbprint.
Yeah, they dye their hand purple or dip their thumb into ink so that they knew who voted.
Yep. So you couldn't
And
come
everybody
back.
was proud, like all the women were proud they could vote.
Yeah, and we had them put their thumbprint on their paperwork. So you had their thumbprint on their paperwork.
Yeah.
There was no...
And then ink on their hand.
Ink on their hand. You
took
couldn't...
weeks to get off.
You couldn't get rid of it. I knew you voted. You couldn't come in and vote 10 times. And we sat there and the military secured that election process. And the only way you could potentially interfere with that is add ballots, right? And you could still do that, but you could go back and, I mean, nowadays if you did it electronically, kind of like how we fingerprint people at work, right? I mean, you could use the electronic form to fingerprint. Okay, yep, you're an American citizen, you're a voter. You don't have to have a driver's license. You just have to be known as an American citizen. You could secure these elections. They just won't, right?
Right. Yeah, it doesn't serve anybody's purpose.
The media's big thing was, and the left's big thing is that by voter ID, putting in voter ID, you're basically stopping the black vote. That's the most racist thing I've ever heard, is that black people can't they're not smart enough to go get a driver's license. That's what the left is saying.
Yeah, that it's racist to make voter ID laws.
Right. And
like,
they use
some absolutely crazy.
You know what blows my mind is the left is claiming it's been done in the past. Do you know that it was done in the past? That they made laws that make it harder for black people to vote? That's been done. You know who did it?
The Democrats.
The fucking Democrats did it. Like, are you serious right now? This is a joke, right? And they're complaining about it. But I mean, you know, with how the software we have that we use it with work and stuff, you could very easily build a system. Very easily. I mean, you have, it'd be very, very simple. Just go in and put your handprints down and come out, and you bring your birth certificate in, put your handprints down.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Every one of them has a birth certificate. Every one of us has a birth certificate. Everybody's got a birth certificate. What you looking at?
Well, I was just trying to look up I thought there was some stuff that came out about Maricopa County, their elections. They had a bunch of ballots that they couldn't find. I think Atlanta had the same thing. There are 300,000 ballots.
They're supposed to be sealed for 7 years or whatever.
There's a number of ballots that they don't have. Like,
that went missing that were counted?
Well, I don't know that they were missing. So like in the Atlanta one where they ran them through, right? Maybe that's it. So then you've got that. This is what I was trying to prove, like the conspiracy thing. So you've got this lady running them through 3 times, right? Now you've got ballots that they can't find. Why can't they find them? Because she ran them through 3 times.
Well, that just leads more to
so then
conspiracy.
that's what I'm saying. But you can't trust the media.
No, you can't.
And so then you're able to see these stories and you line them up for yourself. And until they're proven otherwise, it opens up the gates for conspiracy.
Yep. And that's more damaging to our 100% elections than anything else. But I do remember, like, when there was the recall, they couldn't find ballots and they were stored improperly and people had access to them that weren't supposed to. They weren't sealed or some shit like that.
Oh, here in Wisconsin? Mm-hmm. Was that for Evers?
No, this was Trump.
It wasn't a recall for Trump.
No, did I say recall?
Yeah. I thought you were talking about Evers.
Recount.
Recount. Got it. Sorry. Didn't they try to recall Evers here?
No.
I thought they did.
No, they tried to recall Scott Walker.
Oh, it was Scott Walker and he won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Evers has been a disaster. Walker had a balanced budget and he was a decent decent governor.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, Rhino.
Yeah.
Evers has been something else.
Yeah, it's
anti-cop.
Yeah.
It's left.
It's left.
They're the left.
Yep.
But. Where do you go from here?
I don't know, man. I don't know how to solve the problem like we talked about. It's constitutionally protected, but how do you solve the problem?
It takes somebody far smarter than us to figure it out.
Yeah, dude.
You got to have some sort of libel
laws. We wouldn't
be
working night shift if we were that smart.
Yeah, no. You got to have libel laws.
You have to have something. You have to have something in there to hold people accountable.
And you got to break up the monopolies. You can't.
Yeah, the 6 companies that own all the media, and then the basically 2 that own 80% of the local TV. Like, come on.
You'd have to have like.
That's when it changed, right? Like that's when it changed. Is when it went to corporate, and it was all worried about profits.
Yep. They changed journalism from being
but
fact-based
you can't take that away. You can't make it government sponsored, right?
No, you can't.
Because it's the same thing with the agencies. They're just going to swing one way every 4 years. It's going to swing.
You have to have something where
and it's not going to be independent.
The bulk of your coverage about something, or it's got to be 50-50. It can't be 90-10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. You can't force people to do good stories though either. Right? Like you can't just always all negative.
When's the last time you've seen a positive story?
Well, the local news does positive stories.
Sure. But when's the last time like
I don't watch local news though, so I don't. It's been forever for me.
I just watch it in the morning.
I don't watch it. I don't even watch it for the. Dude, I don't even trust them for weather anymore.
I have no choice.
That's different.
My wife wakes up and turns
watches
it on.
It. Yeah, my wife does the same thing.
It doesn't matter if I'm working nights and I have to sleep.
Yeah.
She turns it on.
Yeah, you will
like,
watch
You're
this.
going to watch this.
Yeah.
You will stay awake.
Listen, you are going to tell me what this. You're going to give me a report.
Yeah, I know. She's
the
fun.
daily briefing for your wife.
Yeah, she's fun.
Yeah.
She won't listen
She's
to
awesome.
this, so I can.
Well, you won't tell her. So.
Yeah, I won't tell her.
I'm going to tell her.
No, you won't.
I've never met her.
Yeah, you won't tell her. You won't tell her what we've been doing this for, like on episode 10 or 11 or whatever we're on.
I think this is 12.
Yeah, she still has no idea. She thinks I have a girlfriend.
No, she doesn't.
No, she does. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that my kids have told
Named
her.
Pat.
Like, yeah. She's like, "What are you doing?" Nothing. What do you got planned tomorrow? Because she tries to make the honeydew list.
Yeah.
It's not happening. I'll do that. The next day. Why? I got stuff going on. What? Stuff. I still won't tell her.
That's hilarious. That's just because you like needling her because the kids know.
The kids know.
Yeah, they've told her though.
Well, and they think we're making a bunch of money.
Yeah, that's the best part.
They think like
there's like 3 people that listen to us.
Yeah, and they think we're
2 of them are talking right now.
Yeah, right. Well, 2 of them are 60% of our views.
No kidding.
But so I don't know. Yeah, I won't tell her.
Yeah, that's funny. I asked my wife, I was like, so have you listened? Well, when am I supposed to do that? I go, I don't know. When you're listening to other things. She's like, well, and I was like, you don't have to listen. It's fine. But lady.
I don't want my wife to listen.
Yeah.
Is that bad?
No, that's fine.
I just, we didn't do this to like, this is kind of like
just kind of a way to vent.
Self-help.
Yeah, dude, for real it is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we didn't do this to like get rich.
Gonna eat the cat.
I hope so. I take that back,
Let's not
PETA.
record it.
I take that back, PETA. I don't hope so. But we didn't do this to like get rich. We did this because we just felt like we didn't have a voice.
Yeah, for sure. Just want to put something out there.
Yeah.
For other people like us, like-minded.
Yeah.
Or
who don't have the
not
time.
even like-minded. Like that's not even what it's about. It's about other people that are just fed up.
Yeah, and
like it's not about my views are better than your views. You and I disagree on a lot of things, but it's just, dude, we're both sick of it.
And I just want to know if it's almost like building a community.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Like getting back to like, hey, listen, we can all be different. We can all disagree on things and still be buddies.
Yeah, and sitting down and having a conversation is how you fix things, right?
For sure.
Once we can all, going back to the media, once we can all agree that what we're getting from our media is bullshit.
Yeah.
We can start about having a conversation about what do we do.
Yeah. And that's what it has to be. It has to be a conversation about how do we fix this.
Yep. I get it. Your beliefs are, you believe in this, then this, and I believe in this, and this.
Awesome.
You're not a bad person. I'm not a bad person. Let's sit down and figure out how we fix it.
Yeah.
Right? And that's how you get to a point of where you need to be.
For sure.
That's not being done anymore.
No, not at all.
It seems like every day you wake up and there's another story about separating farther.
Yeah. You know, just trying to divide.
Yep. And we're further entrenched on the left side.
Divide.
And I don't know. Like I said, I don't think I want my wife to listen to this. I don't know why.
You're scared.
Maybe. She's in charge, bro. I'm just I tell my kids.
Dude.
I tell my kids, they'll ask me something and I always tell them, I just work here.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
I don't run anything. I just work here. Like, go talk to the boss. Like,
yeah, that's funny. I say something very similar to my kids, except for they're 4, so they're into princesses.
Oh boy.
And they're like, Dad, are we princesses? I'm like, sure. Are you the king? Are you in charge? Oh no, nope,
definitely not.
I'm like the prince consort.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's hilarious.
Mom's in charge.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably every marriage.
But it's probably for the best.
It is, for me, it's for the best.
Yeah, for me too.
Yeah.
I can't be in charge.
Nope.
Just give me a list.
I will do stupid things.
I'm going to try to remember your list, so you better write that down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Do you think, I was going to say every married man's kind of like that.
I don't know. I think for us it's different because we work nights.
Yeah.
Like we struggle with that shit.
Yeah.
And I don't think other people do. I think that if I didn't work nights, I would remember a lot more. I think I'd be more like I'm just constantly tired.
I'm always exhausted.
And now with twin 4-year-olds, like it's just
I can't imagine.
It's fine. I just let them play with each other, and then I just break up fights.
I feel like I'm hungover.
Yeah,
when we get off a set of 5 in a row or 6 in a row, and
it's brutal.
It is brutal.
But that's why we're doing this. We got long days off. We got a bunch of days off. We got something to do.
Yeah,
and it helps.
It
calm
does.
us down a little bit.
I
said a little bit.
But like you said, dude, it's like the more we look into this stuff, the more we
find it's not really working.
It's not working.
We're getting like crazier. Not like crazier, like
we're digging now. We're like
a head spinning crazy.
Who was it that said, "Oh, you jumped into the rabbit hole"? Somebody just said that to us a little bit ago.
I don't know.
I know who it was.
It seems like somebody that I think we both know who that was.
Yes, we know who it was.
Yeah.
And they're right.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't fucking end.
It doesn't end. It doesn't end. And I'm not sure, like, that's terrifying.
Yeah, where do we go? I mean, it's like every day.
Well, we don't have to worry about where we go because it never ends.
It never ends. But it's always like.
It's just terrifying. Like, there is never going to be an end.
I guess it's good for episodes.
Well, you got to get more than 3 people to listen. I suppose we should probably start telling people about it. We haven't told anyone. We've told like 5 or 6 people.
Yeah, that's probably our fault.
Yeah.
But we wanted to get grounded first, right?
Yeah.
We told Al.
Yeah, we told Al. Thanks, Al.
Yeah. I love Al.
Yeah. I didn't work with him that long, but I liked him from what I did know.
Yeah. Good dude. We work with a lot of good dudes, and we work with a lot of shitbags, too.
I think that's pretty commonplace.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, I think we've beat this one to death.
Yeah, man. I think we're good for now until next week when some other crazy story comes out about it.
Yep. And Mika, I don't want you to control me.
Nope.
And
Joe, I'm still going to be a useful idiot.
Useful idiot. And
because I was right and you're wrong.
Mm-hmm. He's a giant.
You're a fucking idiot.
Yes. Thank you.
You're just a mouthpiece. That's all you are. You're good for nothing.
Wow. Say it again.
He's good for nothing.
There was a little aggression there.
Dude, it's just, it's
good?
how it is.
Did that feel good?
No.
It didn't feel good at all?
Not at all, because he's never going to hear that.
A little bit it felt good.
No.
I could see it the second time you said it. It felt a little good.
Maybe a little bit.
I know.
All right.
All right, well, everybody, thanks for joining us. And look forward to the next couple. We have some coming up. We'll probably do a few more happy hours, eh?
Maybe. They were all right. We'll see if we can get arrested in a park.
Oh, my God. They're going to think it's either prostitution.
Prostitution is what I was going to say, but I didn't want to be like...
We're going to be two dudes in a truck.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. They're like, all right, which one, who's got the drugs? And then there's going to be no drugs. And they're like, all right, which one of you is the John?
Yeah.
Like, we're both the John?
Yeah, there you go. What do you mean?
We drove here. We've got recording equipment.
Oh, making it even worse.
There's no video.
That's true.
That's weird.
That is weird.
That'd be weird.
That is very...
All right, let's get off of this.
Yeah, we're really spinning here.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. Thanks for hanging along, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Yep. Check us out. Check us out on our website, bluecollartakes.com. Our social media pages, X, Facebook, Truth. We got them all.
Share us.
Yep. If you like us, share us, rate us. Please spread the word.
Thanks, everybody.